When a show runs for as long as 19 seasons, there are bound to be emotional moments. And nothing breaks a heart like seeing the protagonist suffer. Leroy Gibbs plays NCIS's main lead, allowing us to witness a number of heartbreaking Gibbs moments throughout the show. Keep watching to find out more. Let's begin. First, the murder of wife and kids. The role of Leroy Jethro Gibbs is played by Mark Harmon. The character is a veteran U.S. Marine Corps scout shooter turned secret agent for the Naval Criminal Investigation Service and leads a squad. Gibbs is the team's best sniper and appointed to manage violent conflicts. In Season 3, fans learn about the tragic death of Gibbs' wife and daughter. They were murdered brutally, and the pain of losing his family can be seen written all over his face. Gibbs and his wife Shannon first met each other at a railroad station in Stillwater. Shannon used to have codes to live her life by, which is what prompted Gibbs to form a set of rules for his own life as well. The two soon got married and had a daughter, Kelly, but the marital bliss did not last long. A cartel member named Petro Hernandez killed a Marine, and Shannon and Kelly were held under protective custody. While Gibbs was serving in the military, a cartel member tracked down the agent in charge of his wife and daughter's custody and shot him while he was driving them. The car lost control, and the mother and daughter duo lost their lives in the process. Gibbs blamed himself for being away in the force and not being there to protect his family. The man later found and killed Hernandez, but continued to carry all the pain with him, making this one of the most heartbreaking moments in all of NCIS. Next, Gibbs loses his best friend. NCIS has been on air for a long time, so it's not a surprise to see that a lot of major supporting characters have been killed off during that time. Gibbs has lost a lot of teammates and squad members, but the death of his best friend hit audiences very differently. In the Season 8 episode 23, called The Swan Song, Mike Franks loses his life while investigating the case of the port-to-port killer. As a fellow Marine member and former NCIS agent, Mike was Gibbs' longtime friend, and the only person in Gibbs' life to have the audacity to call him Proby. Franks died fighting the serial killer in the rain, and even after his death, visits Leroy in his dreams sometimes. The show has its fair share of crushing moments, but none take the trophy like Gibbs losing his best friend. Even though Mike was sick and already dying, it was still heartbreaking to witness the loss. What was sadder was seeing Gibbs build a casket for his friend with his own hands. Certainly a cry-worthy moment in the show. Up next, fan favorite Ziva leaves NCIS. In Season 11, Ziva David was seen hiding out in Israel after the NCIS was being pursued by a terrorist group. By the time Michael Weatherly's character Anthony D. Tony DiNozzo met with Ziva, she had decided to stay back in her homeland and quit her services as an agent. Ziva didn't want to continue her agent work after her father's death and was not seen on the show for quite some time. Later on in Season 13, viewers heard that David had been killed in a mortar attack, although neither the attack nor the corpse were ever shown. In Season 16, a note written by Ziva confirmed that she was alive and well, but currently in hiding. This thrilled fans, as there was hope she might one day return to the show. Gibbs loved Ziva as a daughter. Her willingness to kill her half-brother to protect Gibbs increased his trust in her, and their professional relationship grew into a strong dynamic. As hard as it was for fans to say goodbye to her, it was harder to see Gibbs hear Ziva's voice on the phone and realize he won't be seeing her again anytime soon. Next, ex-wife Diane's death. Diane Sterling was once married to Gibbs. Other than being Leroy's ex-wife, she was the ex-wife of former FBI Special Agent Tobias Fornell and Homeland Security Agent Victor Sterling. She was also Emily's mother and a criminal investigator for the Internal Revenue Services. Diane's character was played by Melinda McGraw and was not a frequent on-screen appearance on the show, but in the episode she did appear in, she made quite an impact. Sterling was shot in the head and killed by international madman Sergei Mishnev in the middle of Season 12. This raised the stakes for both Gibbs and Fornell, urging them to find the mercenary soon. Although Diane had only a couple of appearances on the show, she was Gibbs' wife once, and they had a strong emotional bond. She once told Gibbs that he was her Shannon. Things didn't work out, but they remained connected, so it was devastating to see Gibbs witness Sterling being killed. It is extremely sad that Leroy had to repeatedly watch people close to him get killed in front of him. Now we have the scene in which Gibbs takes a bullet. Both fans and the NCIS team had a hard time dealing with the closing of Season 12. Lead Gibbs was shot at, and the fate of the NCIS agent was left hanging for the next season, where we saw him fighting for his life. At the end of the CBS show's 12th season, Gibbs was shot twice by a boy named Luke, whom he had made friends with earlier. It was later revealed that Luke had been recruited by a group called The Calling to become a terrorist, and Gibbs's fate was left unclear as season 12's last episode came to an end. The aftermath of the shooting saw Gibbs fighting for his life, drifting between life and death as he was treated in the medical ward on board the Navy ship the USS Daniel Webster. In the meantime, DiNozzo and CIA officer Joanna Teague traveled to Shanghai to cut the roots of the terrorist group The Calling once and for all, while everyone else tried to adjust to the reality of Gibbs being shot. Leroy survived, but fans saw him struggling with the fact that he almost died throughout season 13. This brought out a new side of the agent, showing him in a more human light and bringing attention to the fact that he is not a superhuman after all. Next, when Gibbs loses his father. The lead NCIS agent lost his on-screen father in season 12, as the actor who played the character, Ralph Waite, died in real life. In the episode Honor Thy Father, Gibbs and the team go after an apparent burglary, learning about a fire in the gallery aboard a naval vessel in the Atlantic Ocean the next day. After this, Vance tells Gibbs that his father Jackson died from a stroke last night. Gibbs goes to his hometown of Stillwater, Pennsylvania to visit his family, but has to return to work soon to take over the burglary case. In the end, we see Gibbs attending his father's funeral and burial with the whole NCIS team, including Vance, L.J. Moore, and some others joining him. Even though the actor who played Jackson Gibbs died, the showmakers made sure to give him a proper send-off. It was a heartbreaking moment, but it was also very wholesome to see the entire cast gather for the last rites of Gibbs's father. Next, Kate dies unexpectedly. The season 2 finale gave viewers major shockwaves, especially when Kate was shot and killed by Ari right in front of Gibbs and Tony. This departure opened the door for Ziva to enter the show, but it was still sad to see Kate go, and Gibbs trying to get justice for her death. Now we have when Gibbs suffers from amnesia. At the end of season 3, fans were treated to a 2-part finale called Hiatus, but the end was anything but cheery, as viewers saw Gibbs struggling and going through a particularly hard time in his life. In the episode, Gibbs was contacted by a Turkish government agent and informed about an upcoming attack on the Marine assault ship. He goes on board the vessel, and the NCIS team waiting in the car witnesses an explosion on the ship, killing one agent while severely injuring Gibbs. The explosion leaves Gibbs in a coma, during which he sees flashbacks of the murders of his wife Shannon and daughter Kelly. He also sees himself being wounded in an operation called Desert Storm. In the first part of the episode, Gibbs wakes up from his coma, but fails to remember his colleague and friend, Ducky Mallard. It is revealed in part 2 that Leroy has no memory of anything after 1991 and believes he has just come out of the Operation Desert Storm. Several teammates tried to help him regain his memory, but to no avail. Throughout this 2-part episode, we keep seeing Gibbs trying to remember parts of his life, only getting successful at some of them. It was highly depressing to see the lead struggling with everything he had worked for. But for now, that's a wrap for this video. Which one of these heartbreaking Gibbs moments made you run for the tissues? Let us know in the comments down below. Also, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. We'll see you in the next one.